I'm an advocate for marriage. Like I believe in it. I'm Nigerian, so marriage is a very huge thing where I come from. It's very, 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 very important. We take it very seriously. So why I asked that question was my uncle. He's a doctor. When he got married, yeah, he got married to a very beautiful woman. She was very feminine, like everything you would ask for in a woman. She was well vetted by my uncle, by all of us. We all, yeah, she came from a two-parent household. She was religious, all of it, like the whole thing. And 10 years later, she filed for divorce over some, I would say, stupid.
What
But
was
they
the
were
reason?
having problem. They were
Yeah,
having
what was the
problems.
reason?
I don't know if I can.
He don't want to put that business out there.
Yeah, but it was just stupid. But yeah, so she filed for the divorce, and my uncle is someone that yeah, he's like the second father. I view him the same way I view my father. He's a very strong man, but I saw this man break down
Mm-hmm.
because this woman took him to the ringer,
Can I ask you a
and that
question?
shook me. Like if I gotta be, that shook me because I was my fiance. Yeah, I was with my fiance at the time. My brother too. He was with his fiance at the time. That kind of shook me, and my brother was. I thought it was only me, but when my brother and I were talking, he was echoing what I was thinking.
So,
I've never seen my father cry. I've never seen my uncle cry, but I saw this man break down in
so,
It,
tears. Yeah,
so,
go ahead.
Baron. So, I had a similar. I shared this before about watching my uncles talk about marriage. I wasn't sold on it neither because I figured the way they complain, they sound like some of the men around the sphere, right around the space.
No, no,
Who
no, no. It wasn't. It wasn't like the
no,
man that you see here. No, no, no.
no. I'm
Um,
not. I'm not saying he was. I'm saying in my personal experience,
yeah.
watching the way they talked about marriage and all that stuff made me think that it was a negative thing that I never was gonna do.
Mm.
Right. And then it clicked in my brain that everything is foundational depending on how you set it up. So it may be something. If I was you, I would ask him if he could do it again or if he has done it again. What did he realize that he could have done differently to change? Because if he was hurt, like broken apart by an ending, it's because it was something worth keeping or something he really valued at the time. So
No, no.
to
I
move
would
in,
say. No, I
so
would say
to,
is because and the sad thing about this is it's a role and like you never know. If you can tell the future, then we know. You don't know what would happen in 5 years, in 10 years, in 15. You don't know. So if I would ask him, would he have done anything different? He would say no because he did everything right.
that's really like so. When I hear that, it's like I, it's hard for me to believe. Not saying you lying and his situation isn't correct because I'm sure he probably told you the truth and in his mind he did everything right. But
We all
it,
was surprised. We didn't see that coming from her. Like, yeah, she switched up. She switched up. Nobody saw it.
how long were they
So
dating for?
dating.
They never
We're
dated.
we're Nigerian, man. We don't really. We
They
she.
don't
I mean,
date in Nigeria, bro.
he courted her, and then they got married. I mean, even though he was here, but he courted her for about I don't know, maybe 4 months or so, five
Mhm.
months, and then yeah, we don't really do all that dating stuff. Yeah.
If I was you, I would ask him some more questions because I women typically don't tend to just wake up. I know they say that around here a whole lot, but
No,
they
no,
don't
no,
just
no. I
wake up
know. Yeah,
without being
like I said, it's 10 years. So something gradually happened. So I mean, she didn't just wake up one day and switched up. Like the switching happened gradually. So, but what I'm saying is, I mean, in time, people could change. So if I mean, you could do everything right at a time, but the way the way it is, it's like what I'm. It's not about fearing marriage. Marriage is not the boogeyman. It's the power that the government is just the government being is the government like the power that they've given to women. Like And if men had that power, the same, and I think the same thing with we are all human beings. You give us an inch, we're gonna take a mile, definitely. So it's just that power that women know that I don't know, but that's why I asked that question because it's not even about prenup. Because when you say prenups, yeah, prenups are something that yeah, that can be thrown out easily. I don't know much about post. I mean, Ina says something about post up, but I don't really know that much about it. But I'm sure that there's also if you get a good lawyer. I mean, so it depends on the lawyer you have. There's always a loophole. But I'm not even talking about none of that. I'm not even talking about none of that stuff. I'm talking about like what can and I was asking the ladies this: what is it can when a man have that concern, which is a valid concern? It's not something that you should just sweep under the carpet like he's insecure or whatever. When a man actually have that kind of concern, what is it other than saying prenups? Would you do or say to actually let this man know that that this is something that he will want to do? That's what I'm asking.
Ladies, how do y'all confirm to men that your intentions are pure and that that is exactly what you want? If I'm hearing you correctly, Baron.
Yeah.
I'm
I,
gonna be honest. I think most women get married with the intention of staying married. Now, there you do have a percentage. Do not get me wrong. You do have a percentage, which I think is a small minority, but it sounds like in some men's minds that makes up the majority because of how many divorces occur. But I do think majority of women go into marriage believing that it's going to be a lifelong situation. And then I also think that they go in believing a fairy tale and not understanding what marriage truly is. And after they're married, it doesn't match their ideal of what marriage is. And then I think sometimes that leads to a level of disappointment and their unhappiness as well, which could lead towards a divorce. But I don't think most women get married with the intention of getting a divorce.
I want to add one more thing. Um, I understand the question, but I think there needs to be some level of self accountability. Like, there needs to be some work done on the man's part to be able to make room for trust. Because if you're building a relationship based on the woman having to constantly prove to her man that she is always in it, that's really exhaustive and that's going to want to make a woman exit, right? Like, he has to meet her halfway. She can't have to prove beyond what's considered reasonable. Like, that's too much to ask of any human being.
Anybody else want to answer that question?
Go ahead. You was about to.
Well, it's going to be different for me because I don't have to be married in the United States. I don't mind going somewhere else. We don't have to follow the United States laws. I don't really care. But so I'm just going to be a little different. I know that's not like the majority. Majority of women want to be married in the U.S. So
yeah, I think the question was outside of the marriage, like, what's the selling point? Maybe was that what he was asking? Like, what's your selling point to stay?
no, I
No.
think he wanted to know how can we make sure that divorce, all of the things, all of his issues with the financial problems, all of those things that come along with divorce, how do we take those out of the equation so he can feel safe,
No,
not
how?
scared to be
I,
married?
I guess yeah, that too. But how is divorce not an option? Like other than which I know is a very yeah. People always throw this out, physical abuse, all this stuff. But other than that, how is divorce off the table?
I
Is
think
what I'm
those
asking.
conversations need to happen before you even get married. Like I was
We have to break
watching
his
something,
boundaries.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was watching something not too long ago, and it was saying something about the 7 questions or something that you should ask your partner before getting married. And I can't remember all of them, but that was one of them. Like, what is your belief around divorce? in marriage or what have you. And I think that is a great question to ask, because you do want to have some level of security around, if this person thinks that when things are bad, that divorce is my way out.
What is yours?
What did
Um,
he say?
he said, "What is mine?"
Oh,
Divorce is not an option. Like for me in my marriage, that's our mindset. Um, One of the things that we said is that just like we had to work a few years, because we dated for a while before we got married, that we have to commit to earning our way out of a marriage. So before we can even
What?
get a divorce, what work are we putting in prior to that? So that is going to look like we got to go to couples therapy or counseling for a significant amount of time. We're not going to sit there and be like, oh, let's try it for 2 months. Oh, it's not working. No, it has to be a significant amount of time and really do the work if it ever gets to that. So we have to work our way. We have to earn our way out of our marriage. And the D word has not come up in terms of, all right, I'm ready, this is it, there's nothing else to work on, we're done. It has never gotten to that point, because we sit down, we communicate. Now, we have had to go to therapy to learn how to communicate better. And I think that's part of the problem too in a marriage, is that you kind of think your partner should know certain things. I think women are probably more guilty of this, though, is that you think that your partner should know things without you having to say what the issue is, because they love you enough and been around you long enough to know what you're thinking. And then they don't, and then you get upset, but it's on us because we never voiced it. If you don't give it a voice, then you can't have a solution. So divorce is off the table for us. Like, that's not even
Regardless of
concept.
whatever, like you said, divorce is not an option for you. Like
Mhm.
regardless.
Now, I would say physical abuse,
No, no,
like,
no. I'm not talking about physical
okay,
abuse.
yeah, but I know it. Like, if you're getting at like infidelity or anything like that, I'm up in the air about that in regards to, I do think that people make mistakes, right? Um, my concern more so would be the why, rather than the, who, so to speak. Because for me, the why is going to give me more answers to see if this marriage will be salvageable. If the why is a significant reason, like, oh, I was feeling unloved, or, it was just something that was going on with me or whatever, we're going to go to therapy. We're going to work through that. We're going to try to work it out to see how can that be addressed. So that's not an immediate cause for divorce for
What if
me.
he doesn't want to go to therapy?
then he
Then,
doesn't want help.
yeah, then to me, then that's letting me know that he doesn't want it. Because if I'm saying this is what I need for us to kind of get back on track and feel comfortable in this marriage, feel secure in this marriage, because I know you're doing the work and that we're doing the work together to resolve whatever issues we have, so we don't get back to this situation, and you're refusing that, then to me, that means you don't want it.
So,
Can
so
I say?
okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
And two, I think that if you do a little bit of research, there are always some key factors that, it's just over time. These are the higher reasons why women divorce. So you might want to look at those, and
I
make
know
sure
those.
you said
Yeah,
what now?
I say I know. I've looked it up. I know.
Oh,
It's usually
yes.
finances.
So take those in consideration, and then also understand women are not one size fits all.
Mhm.
Like Mistaken just stated what were deal breakers in her relationship. You have to
Mm.
talk to your mate,
Yeah, that's
find out
true.
what her deal breakers are, because it may be that cheating is a deal breaker for her.
That's
So
fact.
you got to know when you go into this marriage, this woman is not playing about you cheating. So you put that ding-a-ling somewhere else.
What
You
about,
maybe serve
because I
some
was about
papers.
to ask, the finance situation, because that was, I was about to ask, mistaken, what if, God forbid, something happens, maybe your husband loses his job, or maybe something happens to him, he can't work no more, you got to support the family. Now you got to support the family for years and years and years. he's not doing much. Like, yeah, is that a deal breaker?
No, because I signed up for better for worse. So I've been, well, actually we've both been in situations where it was a situation where I wasn't working at a time and he had to hold us down. And then there's been
But that's
situations
natural
where he
sometimes.
was out of work and I had to hold us down. So that's definitely not a
Could
deal
you do
breaker.
that for 10 years? Hold him down for 10 years?
Well, if there was a reason he could not work for
Yeah.
10 years, yes, I would. That would be for better word. But if it's just like, I'm done with, working, I just don't feel like it anymore. Would I divorce him?
Chasing his passion.
10 years? If it takes you 10 years to chase your passion, that might not be the right
That's a hobby.
that, that's not the right passion. But
Okay, yeah.
but
Okay,
I
go
wouldn't
ahead.
have an issue with him chasing his passion as long as along the way he has a source of income coming in. Because your priority when we got married was to protect, to provide, and all of those things for your family. You chasing your passion while neglecting the
Okay, forget
particular
about the passion. I
provision.
just added that just for fun. Yeah,
Oh, but
that was
yeah,
just,
Love
yeah.
that
but
passion, honey.
yeah, but if he, let's say he's out of work because he had some kind of injury and he had to be out of work,
Or they were
then
laying off. It's not
right,
his
I
fault.
would have no issue doing that.
For 10 years. Now I'm asking because I'm specifically asking, would that be a deal breaker if you had to support him for 10 years?
Before y'all answer, I just want to jump in here because there's no way for me to be able to support the idea of any man fucking sitting on his ass relying on a woman
That's right.
to do
Maybe he
all
was
of
hurt. Maybe he
the
was
work,
hurt.
because what they both have said is it depends on the circumstance. So if he got injured at work, if she has to hold him down until he's no longer injured, cool. And they both kind of said, okay, cool, that's what I got to do. But what you're suggesting is the kind of guy you're talking about is the guy that says, F you, I'm just not going to go get another job. So
That's not
why
what I
would
said.
a woman, part of our job as men is to provide and to protect. We can't possibly provide if she's providing. We're now the fucking woman in that situation. So
That's the question I was
I
asking.
can't advocate. Like, it's hard for me to sit here and listen to that when the scenario you're laying out isn't one of a fucking man.
But you don't understand. I mean, I just put out that passion. That passion thing was, I was like, if he was maybe hurt or something that laid him off out of the workforce for
If he's on
years,
disability,
for
that's
yeah,
different.
for about a decade.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
that's not
saying,
the same.
will you be, will you still be able? Because in the vows, like I keep, and you mentioned the vows, for better, for worse, for richer, for poor. Like, that's supposed to mean something. And
Absolutely.
I've heard, and I've seen when men get injured, that spark that woman has for him kind of dies. You see that slowly die, and then before you know it, the resentment kicks in, and then before you know it, the divorce kicks in.